to BlizzCon.
There's nothing like this anywhere else in the world.
It's our place to celebrate all things Blizzard in one amazing experience.
How'd you guys feel about today? You excited?
We're paying homage to those Blizzard gamers.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Frozen Council podcast, episode 16, I believe, recording on October 22nd, 2017. My name is Kyle Flory, alongside with me, Nicholas Kennedy.
Hello.
So what's been on the gaming palette this week, Nick?
Oh, you already know. A lot of PUBG. I'm going real hard in PUBG, trying to climb the leaderboard. Shout out to main team Aaron. We're getting 6-piece chicken dinners every night. Besides that, I've been playing a little bit of Heroes and quite a bit of Counter-Strike too.
All right. Good stuff. Also with me, Jeffrey Flory.
Hello.
What have you been up to, my brother?
The huge, playing me some Heroes of the Storm. Been jibbing around a little bit on the PlayStation, playing some stuff like that, playing some Stardew Valley on Switch, just keeping it diverse, keeping it fresh.
All right. And last but not least, Greg Bay.
Hola.
So what's been on your agenda, or what was on your agenda this week for games?
Jump back into Hearthstone a little bit. Last week it was kind of a dry spell for me for that one, but I got some pretty good matches this week. A little bit of Heroes of the Storm with you guys as well. And a little throwback one, I started playing a little bit of the Lost Vikings here recently, just to satiate my nostalgic itch.
All right, good stuff. On the topic of Greg in Heroes of the Storm, Greg's a risk taker. I like that. He's got some tenacity in him, and he's good as Sylvanas. He's really good at pushing lanes, getting that siege damage down. But
really quick before you continue, I'd like to point out that I finished that match the other night with, what was it, like 16? I think it was 19 for my kill streak before I died. Thank you.
Okay, I don't think I said anything about your number of kills, sir. But sometimes Greg goes a little deep. And no, it was just funny. One of the games I was dead or something, and I was kind of looking at the map, and then it's always funny. You could tell when Greg has overcommitted because he gets a little excited vocally, and then I look up and he was just deep on that fort, and he could have got out, but there was 2 players came from behind him and cut him off. But so he puts down the kills, gets the siege damage, but he's a little bit of a risk taker as well. So, but yeah, that was pretty much what I was up to this week as well. Mainly Heroes of the Storm. Finished up the Hollow's End event, got that finished, and what else did I play? Did a few little things on the SNES Classic. Played a little bit of Chrono Trigger, some Switch stuff. Getting ready for Super Mario Odyssey that comes out on Friday. Really looking forward to that, and yeah. Do want to get back to StarCraft Remastered's campaign. Hopefully I'll have some time to do that soon, but it's going to be interesting because we do have Destiny 2 coming out on Tuesday, and I have a feeling that's going to take a lot of my pre-BlizzCon time for gaming. So anyway, so that's pretty much it. So let's have a little bit of a different show today. The news has been very light outside of, anything BlizzCon related. The only thing I think we found was that the third Overwatch team was named. There's the San Francisco Shock. There's more information on the Overwatch League website if you're interested in that. And just kind of on the BlizzCon angle, they did release another set of videos for the pre-show BlizzCon videos. So there's a few things here. We've got, I'm going to probably mess this name up. There's the Artist's Journey with An Deng, and it's she has some art that's free to everyone. It's an art video. There's a 2017 year in review with Hearthstone. That's free to everyone. There's an intermediate cosplay with Monica Lee. That's only available for virtual ticket holders. And then there's another advanced actually, there's advanced cosplay with Jordan Duncan. That's only for virtual ticket holders as well. So that's pretty much it. So let's just gonna
There's one more too. It's the there's a behind the scenes tour for the Blizzard Arena that just opened up recently in Los Angeles.
Oh, where was that at? I didn't even see that.
It's the first one on the watch page for BlizzCon.com. It's Blizzard Arena Los Angeles tour. It's about 11 minutes long. Haven't had a chance to watch it myself, but based on all the pictures I saw from the events that were happening there, I'm pretty excited to check it out.
Oh, okay. They must have just added that because, well, it wasn't on their list of roundup videos for the week. So that's there for people to check out. But so that's pretty much the news for the week. So let's go ahead and start with our segment that we just started a few episodes ago. So let's talk about
the champion of the week.
So I wanted to kind of find something that was a little bit Blizzard or BlizzCon themed here for our champion of the week. And I actually found some pretty good stuff here. So we do have our champion of the week for this week, and it's Joe Maiz, aka Striker. He posts on the BlizzCon forums every year, and he has a survivor guide that he consistently updates. And I don't think I used this the first year that we went. We kind of really went in blind at BlizzCon 2010. But I've checked it ever since then, and he puts up, it's not so really critical for me anymore because, we've all gone numerous times now. But for people who are going for the first time or planning to go in a future year, his guide has a lot of great information. He always does a rundown of he starts early in the year, when he'll announce, when the ticket sales get announced, he puts up the dates, the prices. He puts up, information for traveling. If you're going to fly into a particular hotel, he gives you, airport. He tells you, different information about how to get to the convention center from the different airports, different transportation methods that you may have. He always does a rundown of hotel information. He does, just basic convention information. He always puts the map up and the schedule, just some things you need to bring. He goes, through the pickup process for badges. He talks about restaurants. He talks about all kinds of stuff, just things that you might want to consider packing if you're coming from out of town, just all kinds of stuff. So it's a really good resource. And I know a lot of people are going to BlizzCon for the first time this year, especially with the expanded ticket sales. So I definitely recommend checking that out. If you want to see what he posts, go to BlizzCon.com and then click forums at the top, and that'll take you to the BlizzCon specific forums. If you go down to the general discussion, you have to scroll down a little bit, but look for the unofficial BlizzCon Survivor Guide. It's started by Striker, so definitely recommend checking that out. And keep up the good work there, Joe. It's really good what you're doing for people who are going to BlizzCon. Just that way, you can be intimidating for people who've never gone to a convention like this or a trip. And there's a lot of good information that can keep people going in the right direction. So if people want to give him a shout out, either post on the forums or you can find him at Joe_Maiz. That's MAIZ on Twitter. And so thank you, Joe. We appreciate it. You're our champion of the week. Thanks for keeping our BlizzCon attendees up to date with all the most pertinent and required information. You guys want to add anything?
We salute you.
Yeah, definitely. You make it a lot easier. I'm checking out his forum right now, and there's just a ton of information, stuff I wouldn't even think about. And again, as Southern California natives, a lot of this stuff we don't really have to consider because we're so close in proximity to where the event is. But for anyone that's coming out of town, this is definitely going to help you out if you want to save yourself some time and money.
All right. Well, I think that pretty much summarizes it. So again, thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, and you're our champion of the week. All right, so let's go ahead and move on here to basically the topic of the show here. BlizzCon 2017 is upon us. We are today is actually the 22nd of October. BlizzCon, of course, is November 3rd and 4th at the Anaheim Convention Center. tickets are sold out, as they always are, instantaneously every year. We managed to get our tickets, a little bit of a hassle to get them, but I think we talked a little bit about this on our inaugural episode. We talked about BlizzCon ticket sales. I think at that point we had... did we have all our tickets secured by then? I can't even remember. It's been so long.
We did not. We were still in the process of trying to get the last few.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay. So what ended up happening was normally there's 2 rounds of ticket sales. We didn't get any tickets in either of those first 2 rounds. Jeff and I ended up buying tickets through the benefit dinner sale. Those were $750 a piece. My wallet's still feeling that, but it's all going to a great cause. So of course, and it's a good thing. And, so we're able to go to BlizzCon and help a good cause at the same time. It got announced that the expansion for the convention center was going to be finished in time for BlizzCon this year, which allowed Blizzard to open up more ticket sales. And with that, we were able to secure some more tickets at that point for Greg and a few of our other friends. It pains me to say it at this point that Nick will not be joining us at this time unless something changes. That sucks. Nick's gone with us every year. He's one of the most diehard out of all of us for Blizzard games. But we'll persevere, I guess. I mean, wish you could be there with us, but there's always next year, I suppose. But yeah, so let's just talk about it. I mean, we talked a little bit about this on Hawkeye's show, BlizzCon Countdown. He had us on, which again, thank you for that, Hawkeye. We appreciate it. Shout out to you. So let's just go ahead and go around, talk about BlizzCon. Greg, what do you? I guess let's just talk about. You've gone to a few at this point. What are your experiences? What are your thoughts about BlizzCon?
There's almost too much to take in at BlizzCon. It's one of those things where I feel like you need to have some sort of game plan when you are going to BlizzCon, especially for your first time. After your first time, you kind of get a feel for what's there, and you can try some new stuff out. But if you try to see and do everything for the first time at BlizzCon, you're probably not going to have... I mean, you'll have a good time because it's Blizzard and you got your friends and stuff, but you're probably going to get overloaded. So for me, I usually just try to find like a handful of the big things that I want to see during the 2 days. For me, that's always like opening ceremony. I like to watch at least one of the world finals for the esports. Since last time I was there, the only esports they had were, I think Hearthstone was kind of just in its infancy. We had some StarCraft 2, and then there was World of Warcraft. So obviously now there's Heroes of the Storm and Overwatch to kind of take the place of StarCraft, it seems. So this year I'm probably going to gravitate more towards either Overwatch or Heroes of the Storm, depending on how I'm feeling at that time. But I'd also like to check out the closing show also with Muse. It's always fun just to watch a band I've never seen before. Also, I'm really big into the lore of all the different games, so I'm definitely going to want to check out I believe it's called the Lorecraft stage. I believe that's what it's called. It's where a lot of the authors and the creative team come and just talk about their experiences working on the stories for the games. And this is one thing I just now saw this that we did not bring up in our opening news. Christy Golden, who we talked about recently as being recently hired on full-time for Blizzard, announced that she is releasing a new book that is going to be, like, details will be revealed at BlizzCon, and it's supposed to take place after the current content, which is the Shadows of Argus. So pretty excited to hear a little more about that. Yeah, just, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do. Just best thing I could say is just find the things you want to do the most and go do those, because you'll kick yourself in the pants later on if you don't do it.
No, that's a great point that you bring up, is that it is really sensory overload, especially if you play the bulk of Blizzard's games. There's just too much to see, too much to do. You're going to have to select things that you want to do, and you're going to have to make some sacrifices, because more than likely there'll be 2 panels going on at the same time that you want to see. That's a great point. And now that you bring up the Christy Golden announcement, did she announce that on Twitter?
Yes, she did announce that on Twitter.
Okay, so safe to assume it's going to be a Warcraft novel that somehow probably ties into the new expansion that we're expecting to have announced?
Yeah, actually, what happened was there was a listing for the book on Amazon, and after it posted on Amazon, Christy Golden came out on Twitter and said something along the lines of, "I guess the cat's out of the bag. Here's this new book I'm doing. Stay tuned for BlizzCon for more information."
Okay. Good stuff. Just real quick before we move on to Nick, you've been to, is this your third or fourth BlizzCon?
This will be my fourth one, I believe.
Okay, so what are some of your favorite memories from the ones that we have attended in the past?
Right off the bat, I'm going to say just watching Tenacious D on my first BlizzCon for the closing concert. That was a lot of fun. I love Tenacious D, and just seeing him live was a real big treat, especially since Jack Black and Kyle Gass tried to incorporate a little bit of like D&D Warcraft-esque stuff into their show with like the wizard outfit and Kyle Gass dressing up as a dragon. That was pretty cool. I liked the opening ceremony too, and I always go back to this one. I said it on Hawkeye's podcast. The opening ceremony with Chris Metzen just kind of going over the Geek Is thing, just explaining and kind of showcasing all the different things of geek culture that make us kind of what we are. So for anyone that just wants to watch like a really cool video, it's about 15 minutes long, I think, and just go onto YouTube, look up Chris Metzen, Geek Is, BlizzCon, and it's one of my favorite things. Besides that, though, just trying out all the different games before anyone else gets a chance to. It was cool, like trying out the gnomes and the Worgen before they went live in the game. I liked watching the StarCraft World Finals, just kind of that ambiance of everyone just kind of like on the edge of their seats, that kind of feeling when the person you want to win is about to win and then like they lose. You see like the Zergling rush happen, and you can hear everyone in the hall just kind of go crazy when it happens. And there's just a lot of fun stuff to do. I mean, there's probably more than what I'm thinking of. I think everything about it's fun.
All right, thank you, sir. Let's go ahead and move on to Nick. Again, like I mentioned, Nick, unfortunately, at this time, seems like you won't be with us this time, which again, it just sucks. But so why don't you talk about what BlizzCon means to you, and maybe some tips for people and your favorite experiences from the ones you have attended?
I would say, favorite, as far as tips, I think just, kind of try to generate a plan, look at the schedule, see what you want to do most, because, most likely something's going on at the same time that you want to go to see multiple things. So just try to pick your favorites and just enjoy it. Kind of just walk around and chill and enjoy the time with your friends, because there's a lot of just quality, good time. You're around a lot of people who love the same thing, so it's super just fun and exciting, and it's like a big family reunion. Favorite moments, just all the PvP stuff. I know last year, probably one of the best times I've had at a BlizzCon. Probably my favorite time. It was just basically me and Jake going around, watching all the PvP stuff. We got into the Overwatch arena. There was this crazy play by some, I think it was a Japanese team, Zarya Mei combo, where they like wall boosted through the window on Eichenwald, through that tiny little window before you break open the doors. I was super invested in WoW PvP, kind of I've always been a WoW PvPer, but last season I was super involved with like Method's team and Sea-Doo and Nuts and all these awesome players, and they went to the finals. And it was just me, Jake, drinking beers and having a good time.
All right. What about you, Jeff?
So for me, I'd have to say BlizzCon is just, it's nice to see the reveals. That's always kind of a good thing to see. But it's just good to be kind of like just down there and just see everything they have to offer, like the panels and stuff, and just get an inside look at what's going on. It's just like the atmosphere, like the kind of greater than some of his parts, really, and just some of the out of the con stuff that's cool to do down there, like with hang out with friends and party and have a good time. It's all a unique experience. It's kind of just like I said, some like great, just total experience. And then the tips I'd say is just kind of get a game plan of what you're wanting to see, and then use the app or use a program and kind of just schedule up what you want to see and just get to as much stuff as you can.
All right. Yeah, I mean, this will be my 6th BlizzCon, so, it's I mean, I love it. I've gone to different gaming conventions over the years. Many of us in this group have, along with our other friends. I've gone to PAX West. Well, it used to be called PAX Prime, but PAX West went to that twice. Went to PAX East twice. Those were both amazing in their own different ways. Partially because I've growing up in California all my life and never really gone on trips and stuff. It was cool to go to Seattle and Boston. And then we went to Call of Duty XP one year. That was the year where Modern Warfare 3 was announced, I believe, or it had already been announced. We got to see more of it. So that was cool. But yeah, nothing really comes close to BlizzCon. It's, we're all, unabashed fans of Blizzard. It's, just being down there and getting to see all the different games, and everything. Like Jeff said, the reveals that's a lot of fun. Just getting to play all the, the new content for all the games, watching super high level esports, which, it's just fun to watch that because it's like watching, professional, like football or what have you, the people that are at the top of their game playing these and doing things that you couldn't dream of doing, honestly. It was a lot of fun. But for me, the importance of BlizzCon has shifted a little bit for me personally over the years, because when we first went in 2010, we all still lived pretty much in the same area. All of our friends that went, and that's not really the case anymore. Jeff, Nick, and I live together. Greg lives down in Escondido. Some of the other friends that we have going with us, they still live in, Ukaipa, our old town. So they're still relatively close. We could see some of them, but some of our other friends, they live up at, like our friend Andy, he lives up in the high desert. Our friend Garrett lives in Corona with his fiance, and it's just, for me, it's more almost equally important just to be able to spend time with all of you guys and all of our friends, because we don't get to do that much anymore. So that's really cool, and we could easily commute. Like we mentioned, we're local, relatively speaking, to Anaheim, but it's nice to just we have a hotel booked super close to the convention center. Go down the night before, kind of do our thing, get checked into the hotel and kind of BS, do whatever we want to do, grab some beer and, kind of just get ready to relax for the next few days. Jeff and I will be doing the benefit dinner this year, but, we just kind of do our thing and hang out and just have a good time. And then the next day we'll wake up, we'll probably be in line for to get in, probably, I'm guessing this time, probably 7:30 in the morning is when we'll probably be walking out the front door of the hotel to go get in line. And then, yeah, just, watching the opening ceremony, and this time mine and Jeff's little brother's going for the first time. And, he's really taken a liking to Overwatch, and he's starting to kind of branch out in a few other Blizzard games. So it's an amazing time, and I'm more excited to see his reaction to everything. And I think that's part of the magic, honestly, is seeing how excited people, you'll hear, Mike Morheim, he'll get up there and he always does the usual thing, how many people have gone to BlizzCon before, and of course you'll hear a bunch of people, and then he'll ask, well, how many of you this is your first time being here? And then you hear another whole crowd of people yelling and being excited, and I'm excited just for those people, because it's just, even in years where, like we mentioned, 2010 wasn't the biggest in terms of announcements. Cataclysm had already been announced. I think they announced the Demon Hunter for Diablo 3 there. Not a very big year of announcements, but it was still an amazing experience. And, yeah, so I'm stoked. Like I have 5 more days of work, and then I took that week off. So Mario Odyssey comes out on Friday. I'll be playing that in Destiny and just kind of kicking back, and then it's time to go. So I'm really excited, and I look forward to it all year. The process pretty much starts right away every year for us. We already start planning. After we pretty much when we're walking out the door, from the previous BlizzCon, we're already thinking about the next year, and usually doesn't take long. Get through the rest of the year, and then a few months in, then they announce the next BlizzCon, and then tickets go on sale in April, and then the whole cycle starts again. So it's a long wait for BlizzCon. We buy our tickets in April, and then we wait 7 months. So I'm stoked. I really can't wait. But with that, let's go ahead and kind of go into a little bit of what's going on for BlizzCon 2017. Let's just kind of like Greg already touched on a little bit. Musical guest is Muse. Greg, you mentioned you're pretty excited about that. Nick and Jeff, what are you guys' thoughts on this particular pick?
What, Jeff?
What? They said Nick.
Nick or Jeff, whoever. Doesn't matter.
Nick, go ahead. I'll let you take the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said it a couple podcasts ago when we announced it, but I think it's a better pick, more of like a broader audience. Anyone can kind of enjoy it. It's not so niche or whatever as the past pick. So I think it's a really good choice, and yeah, solid.
Jeff,
I think it's a good pick, but not my first choice. But I mean, I think it's special enough, I guess, and not like too mainstream, not too niche. So I think it'll be good. I mean, I'll be interested in seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, again, not my exact style of music. Even though I'm kind of known in our circle of being pretty, probably the most specific out of all of us. Musical taste. Metal all the way. I mean, I do listen to other styles, and I knew they weren't going to pick anything super heavy that I'd be into anyway. But yeah, it's a good pick. I mean, I like some Muse songs. I've heard a lot more of Muse than I was aware. When I started listening to them on Spotify after the announcement, I was like, I didn't realize that a lot of the songs I'd heard were theirs. So I'm pretty familiar with their stuff. But yeah, I don't know if I'll personally be watching it. And Greg, you're gonna want to probably watch it at the main stage if possible, right?
We'll see. I mean, if it's something that we just like catch, like maybe like even if it's just like a song or two that we stay for and then like we just kind of cruise out afterwards, I'd be fine with that too. But I mean, it's one of those bands like I'm not like a huge fan, but I listen to them enough to where I think it would be cool just to maybe hear 1 or 2 songs of them.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Like you mentioned, the closing ceremony is broadcast all over the convention center. So even if you're not able to watch it, with your own eyes, watching the main stage, you can catch it off, another screen or something like that. Which I don't doubt that's probably what's going to happen because the closing ceremony, unless you have your butt parked there during whatever esports competition is finishing up before, you're pretty much not going to get a spot because it fills up. So yeah, we'll have to see how that is. And again, yeah, we mentioned we'll be going down there on Thursday, November 2nd, doing our thing, and then Friday we'll be getting in line for the opening ceremony. There is supposed to be a pretty significant change in the way the opening ceremony is handled. There's going to be live content on multiple stages. I think we'll still try to get to the main stage. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, so I mean, we've kind of been going over BlizzCon stuff for ever since the stuff kind of started rolling out back in, I think about a month ago. So let's go ahead and get into our predictions for what
really quick. I'm gonna touch on just 2 more things really fast.
Oh, okay.
This is back to my personal experience for BlizzCon. For those that this is their first time going, I highly recommend going on to the Blizzard gear store and pre-ordering any merchandise that you want to get for BlizzCon, because I can attest that I've spent my fair share of hours waiting in line for BlizzCon exclusives when I could have been using that time to go like watch a World Championship or watch a panel that I want to see. So if you really want to see everything you can at BlizzCon, do all your shopping online, pre-order it, have it mailed to you, and then do it that way. The other thing was we were talking about just like big things that we really like seeing when we were there. This was not my first one. I mean, I think it was maybe either the second or third BlizzCon I went to when they showed the opening cinematic for Heroes of the Storm. And it has a little more meaning now to me than it did then because obviously we've been playing Heroes of the Storm for quite a while now, and I can kind of appreciate it a little more. But yeah, just that first time, like when the cinematic starts and you see, I think it's Raynor coming out of like the cloud of dust, and then just on the other side of him, Diablo starts poking her head out and stuff, and yeah, it was pretty awesome seeing the combination of the different worlds like that.
No, that's definitely a good point, and yeah, we touched on it a little bit before. Like I said, if this is your first BlizzCon, go to the opening. Try to see the opening ceremony at the main stage. It's at least do it once. There are some people now who say, "Oh, I don't want to go see. I don't want to go wait in line that long, or I want to go do other things," and that's completely fine. But at least go to the opening ceremony your first time, and then decide if there is another time that you go, then you can decide if you'll do it again. We will be taking our entire. It's pretty much we expect to do this every year now. It's just really, it's the energy in that room it's pretty incredible. And like I said, Travis is going this year, and he's never done it, so we'll take him. And if he thinks it's cool, then cool, and if not, then he doesn't have to do it next time. And the gear store, like you mentioned, that's a great point as well. If you are going to BlizzCon and you've already got your digital bonus code redeemed on your Battle.net account, you do have the ability. Well, actually, it's open to everyone now, but you get your. I just did my order today, and it was actually pretty pricey. Came in $150, but I'm gonna, like Greg said, it's all gonna be shipped to my to our home, and then I don't have to worry about it. And if because they have gotten better about putting systems in place to make the lines move a little bit faster. There's a thing now called Blink Shopping, which is accessible through the mobile app, which allows you to basically you're able to see what's in stock on the on location or in the on location store. You can buy the merchandise and then you pay for it, and then it's waiting. There's a special line that goes quicker, and then when you get up to the front, it's all ready for you. So that's a good second option. But if you can, just buy everything now, and then you don't have to worry about it. And your time is better spent, like Greg said, watching esports or panels or playing games or just hanging out with your friends. Anything really is a better use of your time than waiting in line to buy stuff. So get the stuff shipped to your house if you can. That way you don't have to worry about it. And if you spend enough, the shipping's free. I think if you spend over $100, it's free. And then if you spend $150 or more, you actually get a bonus Merchy Murloc pin. For the Blizzard pin traders out there, that's a little bonus for you. But anything else before we move on to the predictions?
Nope, I think I'm good.
All right, well, let's start out with the big one, and honestly, probably the kind of the most expected, I guess, is Warcraft. So let's just kind of go around. Nick, what do you expect to see from Warcraft at BlizzCon? Nick, are you with us?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, did you cut out for a second?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, Warcraft. What do you expect from Warcraft at BlizzCon? I mean, I think we all know, but what do you expect?
Okay, so I think obviously new expansion. We know that's coming. My guess or whatnot that I think it's not really a guess. I guess we kind of talked about it too. Old Gods is kind of the rumor, right?
Yeah, Void, Old God, stuff like that.
Okay. I think this is kind of, I want to get like a little more specific, but I think it is going to be very time travel-y, and I think we're going to go, because of all that drama with Nostralis or whatever, I think it's going to be a really big expansion, and they're going to announce you're going to be able to roll back to previous expansions and do them like exactly as they were with exactly, like warrior abilities like Sunder Armor and stuff that don't exist. Because I think, there's been a lot of complaining about old school abilities and kind of the versatility of classes and just buttons to press and things to do. So that's my big one, and then the whole Nostralis drama and them wanting things. I think we're gonna be able to like travel back and do OG content with OG abilities and all that. And then real quick, and then this is kind of an aside, and it doesn't really go with it, but me and Kyle were talking about it the other day. I think there's gonna be some class crossing. So I don't think they're gonna do a new class because they already did Demon Hunter last expansion. I don't think they're gonna do any new races at all. Well, they could do some, maybe not new. I don't know. But my thing is class crossing. So I think you're gonna be able to like red mage, maybe paladin and mage or something.
Okay, that's some good stuff, and I'll save mine toward the end, and I'll do that for every round of this. But does everyone on basically expect WoW expansion with Void, Old God type themes?
I think it's a safe bet for an expansion. I'm not sure I would bet on what it is, but yeah, that's gonna be a WoW expansion for sure.
Yeah, I would have to say for an expansion, I think it's a pretty safe bet that it's going to be centered around old gods, void lords, and it'll take place. And of course, I'm basing all this off the data mine stuff that we read about from Wowhead a while back, like the South Seas and the Kulturas, that area. So I think this is definitely going to be a more oceanic themed expansion than the previous ones were. And also, I want to touch on Nick's prediction with Nostralis. Of course, that was one of those like legacy servers that got shut down. I don't know if you guys remember a while back, we reported too on there was another one. It was a BC server called Fellmist that was kind of along the same lines where they got shut down because of copyright infringement and stuff. So, yeah, definitely. I can see where Nick's going with that one. There's enough demand for those older content. I think that Blizzard I feel like they kind of have to do something about it.
Okay, and we can talk about that more in a little bit. But Jeff, for Warcraft, other than an expansion, and it's totally cool if you don't want to speculate on what it is, do you think there will be anything else? Any other Warcraft predictions that you'd like to make?
I think the cross-class idea sounds like that'd be cool. But I mean, I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to speculate at this point. I read something that they were talking about possible sub-races, but I'm not sure what all that talks about.
Yeah, I saw something about that too, like where you might be able to play as like one of the elves from Suramar. What are those called? The not night elves.
Nightfallen.
No, not. It's like the Fallen, but the
Nightfallen,
the not corrupted version of Nightfallen. Thank you. Those ones. Then there was like possibly playing as the a different Draenei class or Draenei race. I forget what kind it was though.
Or like something like how there was the High Mountain Tauren, how they were a little bit different than the regular Tauren.
That was actually one of them. It was something I pulled off of Wowhead here semi recently. They were talking about that was one of them. They were talking about the Nightfallen, and there was two other ones that are like on the tip of my tongue. I just can't remember what they are though.
Okay, that would be cool because I'll touch on my predictions at the end, but for this round. But I don't think there'll be a completely new race, but that would be cool to allow some more customization, within the existing races. So, all right, for you, Greg, beyond a WoW expansion that's Void Lord and Old God themed, takes place in the South Seas and Kulturas, what else do you think for the Warcraft franchise we're going to see?
Now, are we just talking strictly World of Warcraft or just Warcraft in general?
Warcraft in general.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say that there's going to be either a Warcraft 4 announcement or a Warcraft 3 remastered. And again, I'm basing this off something we talked about a while back, how there was a patch, just like a random patch update that came out maybe 2 or 3 months ago that just fixed some of the functionalities and some of the UI stuff for Warcraft 3. So I have a feeling, since they're actively working on in-game content like that, that it's one of those things that they're trying to like discreetly announce.
Anything else?
For Warcraft, I'm gonna have to say probably not.
Okay, so here's mine for Warcraft. I agree. WoW expansion, Old God, Void themed, South Seas, Kulturas, all the stuff that's been hinted at, and in addition to the data mine stuff that we talked about, when the Legion storyline really hints at that, and at least with the Void influence, for sure. I don't think that Blizzard would build all that story up and then do some kind of tricky business with that. So I think that is what we're going to get. Maybe we'll get what you mentioned with like the sub-race type customization. There will not be a completely new race. There will not be a completely new class. If I was thinking about functionality, I would have to say that I think we're going to get something along the lines of, and this is kind of an idea that a lot of people tossed around, and I think it sounds pretty cool. We will get something similar to kind of the garrison / class hall, but it'll be like a boat. So you'll be on a ship when you're doing, kind of like, what is the name of that ship in Legion? There's that ship that you, God, why am I blanking? Of course I would blank when I have to describe it. But there's a ship that you go around and you use to do content on Argus. So I think you'll be something similar to that, and that actually was pretty cool. But hopefully, maybe you'll have a little more control on like maybe navigation. I don't know if it'd be more like a mount or something like that, but that would be cool. Want to touch on a few of the things that you guys mentioned. I do see Blizzard trying to somehow revive some old content. I personally do not think that it will be on the lines of what Nick mentioned, where it's, basically like a time machine, going back to old content the way it existed at the time. I don't think that'll happen. I could see them trying to do more with maybe trying to bring some old stuff back, kind of like they did with Molten Core for the 10th anniversary event. Something like that, maybe. And I want to touch another thing on that. We actually didn't discuss it much, but with there was actually some news this week. I totally forgot to bring it up. The team that was most recently working on a legacy server project, I don't know if it was Nostralis or if this was one of the other ones, because I know that there's a couple of them that are going right now. Well, anyway, there was a bunch of apparently money issues going on, and there was just some personnel issues, and so that's pretty much they're shutting that down and starting another one. I want to say that right now, this is a BlizzCon prediction, and this is a forever prediction for Warcraft. There will never be legacy servers for Warcraft, period. That's just my guess. I don't think that Blizzard wants to spend their resources on that. It's going to split the player base. I think they'd rather just make the current version of the game as good as they possibly can. There will never be a legacy server, period. I'm willing to almost bet money on it. I'm not going to entirely bet money because then someone will call me out. But I do not think that I don't think we're ever going to get a legacy server announcement ever. So yeah, and I think we're having some technical difficulties. Nick, Greg, are you still with me?
I'm still here.
All right, so we're gonna actually, of course, 16 episodes in, we're having our first technical issue. Actually, we'll get Greg back or Nick back in here, but let's go ahead and get Jeff back in. So yeah, we're losing everybody all of a sudden. So hold on a second. Jeff, you back?
Yeah.
Okay, Greg, you still here?
I'm still here.
Okay, so real quick while we're
getting us, Nick though.
Yeah, we'll get him back in here as quick as possible. But he says his computer's having issues. So
okay, while we're waiting for Nick, then I got a few things I just want to add on to what we were just talking about, just to clarify a few things. We were talking about those 4 potential sub races that might be coming to the newest expansion or newest patch after. And the 4 that were data mined are the Nightborn, the Void Elf, the Lightforged Journai, and the High Mountain Tauren are the 4 that were recently data mined.
Yeah, if they're data mine, that's that's guaranteed then. That's cool. Yeah, I've been trying to keep a little, I don't want everything from BlizzCon to get ruined. So I've been kind of backing up a little bit purposefully just because I do kind of want some of the stuff to be a surprise. But so really quick, just to summarize my World of Warcraft prediction: new expansion, Void Lord, Old God themed, no new race, no entirely new race, no new class, maybe some tool that lets people play some of the old content again. There will never be a new or a legacy server, period, and some kind of ship functionality as your home base for the expansion. So that's for that's for WoW. But what?
Yeah. I was to add on those things. I mean, we kind of already have. I know it's not the same mechanics as prior expansions, but we have all the time walking events. So I mean, the content is there. It's just not in the way a lot of players would like it. So we'll see about those. Like you said, the legacy server is probably never going to happen, but I have a feeling, like Nick was saying, that they will probably introduce something that'll make it to where that older content could be played more to their liking. I have a feeling.
Okay. Yeah, maybe they'll do something. I don't think people will ever be satisfied if it's not legacy servers, and I don't think they're going to ever do that. I don't know. Maybe Blizzard will. I just don't see them splitting their time. I think it would just be a tremendous investment, because then you got to do, and then how do you do it? Do you make it vanilla, or do you do it Wrath, or do you do, or not Wrath, Burning Crusade? Like, those are the two that everyone always wants. I don't think anyone would want everything to go back to the way it was at Wrath. That was kind of when the game started getting a lot of its modern kind of influences and such. So I don't know. I think it's a very complex issue, and I just don't think that Blizzard's ever, they're never going to be able to satisfy people for that. So I think people just honestly just need to kind of move on. I know that's not it's kind of a brutal way to put it, but the game, it's a service, and it's moved on. It's, all right, we got Nick back.
All right. And one last thing before we move on.
Hold on.
I double checked.
Hold on. Nick, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Greg.
I double checked, and that since we're just talking about the future of Warcraft and what the potential content might be, just a reminder, there is that Christy Golden book that's coming out. She will be talking about it at BlizzCon, and it is called Before the Storm. So and just looking at the title of the book, Before the Storm, I think that's just a big hint that it's going to be some sort of, again, like ocean themed content that's going to be surrounding this next expansion.
Okay. So for me, outside of World of Warcraft, I do not think we will get a Warcraft 4 announcement. If we did, and this doesn't seem like it's Blizzard's MO nowadays, it would just be a trailer. That would be it. I mean, Blizzard can do whatever they want, but that's just not how they've done things, for a while. Like, even with Overwatch, they announced Overwatch, and they had a bunch of panels on it. It was playable at the show floor at BlizzCon 2014. I don't think we'll get a Warcraft 4 announcement. If we do, it will just be a trailer. But more likely is we will see Warcraft 3 get a remaster. Like Greg said, we got the patch. They're still doing maintenance to that game. And I think it would actually, I'm no game designer, but I think it would be easier to remaster Warcraft 3 and kind of put a new layer of polish on it, and bring it up to speed for modern machines than it was for StarCraft, because those units in Warcraft 3 and all the structures, those were 3D. So I mean, they'd probably have to do new textures and stuff, but my guess is it would probably be a little, I wouldn't say easier, but maybe just, I don't know. I think there'd be less work to do in that regard to bring it up to modern, what people expect from modern games. I don't think, some people are clamoring for Warcraft 1, Warcraft 2. I don't think those will happen, and I think they actually, Frank Pierce already made a comment about Warcraft 1 or Warcraft 2, said those games just aren't fun anymore and they don't hold up. So, yeah. So Warcraft 3
And-
HD maybe, but not the other ones.
And one more thing that might like add to the credibility of that, of course, this might be like a Heroes of the Storm reference too, but just to kind of keep the train going, a while back we kind of talked about how they revealed all the items for the goodie bag, and one of the collectible pins was a Blade Master from Warcraft 3.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. It could be Samuro, but every person who got a pin, every single unboxing that I saw, that's what people got. So, and I don't like to look into that stuff too much, but that could mean something. And like you said, it could have a dual meaning. But yeah, so Warcraft 3 remaster, I think that's not something you have to show on the show floor. I mean, on one hand, I guess they could announce and just say, hey, it's coming, and then we're going to run a beta or something. Not everything has to be playable on the show floor. But yeah, so that's my predictions for Warcraft. Why don't we go ahead and start for Overwatch? Let's mix it up a little bit. Jeff, what do you think we're going to get for Overwatch at BlizzCon?
I think. Let's see. I think we might get some new skins for sure. I think we'll see maybe an announcement for an event. I think we'll see something about that. What do you think?
Well, we'll go around the table. Anything else that you expect to see?
No, I don't think. I think it's gonna be pretty light.
All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
All right, go for it.
Okay, so for me, I've made my position pretty clear on this one a couple times. But I'm going to say, first off, I believe that they are going to introduce a new defense character for Overwatch. And this being because since the launch of the game came out when? 2015, 16?
May 2016.
2016? Okay, so it's been out over a year. There's been several new characters released and all different of the different specifications, classes, except defense characters. So I have a feeling it's about time they announce a new defense character. Who it's going to be or like what their abilities are going to be, I couldn't tell you, but I have a feeling that's what's kind of going to be their character focus. On the other side of the game, outside of characters, I have a feeling this is more of a hope than a prediction, and maybe a little bit of both, that they're going to announce.
Is that what you're thinking?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Just get rid of Overwatch and give me World of Warcraft 2. There we go.
There you go.
No, I'm just kidding. But what I was actually going to say is I think that they're going to announce some type of story mode for the game. And I'm basing this off of like just personal. I mean, I love playing multiplayer games. I think it's fun doing stuff with the team, but I'm a big single player guy. And I feel like it can't survive on just being a multiplayer game that has events every now and then. I mean, I'm going to go back to Battlefront, the original one. Yes, it's had its problems, and they're fixing. Yeah, thank you very much. A lot of them. And
a lot of them.
They're fixing a lot of those problems. Also, I mean, from what I'm hearing, this new story mode for the Battlefront 2 looks pretty awesome. I watched a lot of the videos for it, and so that they're fixing that issue. Okay, so but we've seen with that game that a game can't survive just on looking good and having multiplayer. So I feel like they're going to have to do something about that, because I mean, while the events are fun, I don't feel like it's enough to hold people's attention much longer.
And on that note, I'd just like to say the Star Wars franchise as a whole has had a lot of problems. And two, I agree with you on the Overwatch thing. It's just hard to have fun. Oh, you didn't say that. You said it was kind of not as fun. Never mind.
Nick is a hater.
I get what
Good
you're saying.
Lord.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, but no, on a more serious note, is that all you got, Greg?
Yeah, I mean, what they would specifically do for the story modes, I'm not really sure because I mean they have the different digital comics that kind of set up the stories for the different characters. So I mean, but there's doesn't seem to be like a single cohesive timeline in place for a lot of the stuff. It's just kind of randomly interspersed stories. So maybe it might be cool, maybe little scenarios where you actually get to play out the digital comics. I mean, even that would be a nice change of pace just from your daily grind of matches, for me throwing the controller across the room, that kind of stuff.
All right, Nick, and don't say cancel the game. What do you expect from Overwatch at BlizzCon?
Okay, so my first thing is 2 characters. I think there's going to be 2 new characters because I think this is all focused around the Overwatch League, but I think they're going to be ramping up. They're going to try to get stuff going. I think they're going to want to widen the amount of playable characters. So I think there's going to be 2 new characters. One of them, as previously hinted, is going to be like I don't know what you call those Zenyatta people, but it's going to be like a offensive or defensive, so whatever, someone in the robot realm. What are
Oh,
those
the
people called?
Omnix.
Okay, so that's my first. That's one of the characters. The second one, I don't really have an idea. I agree, kind of. It's probably going to be defense or maybe a DPS or something. Those seemed. I think those are like the lowest. Well, actually, everything's had.
I think everything
but,
but defense, I think, has gotten a new character.
Well, no, defense got one too because it had the robot girl.
Oh, Reese is a tank. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, you're talking about defense. Okay, sorry. I was
Like
thinking tank when you said
Symmetra.
defense. Okay. Well, that's where all the troll characters are, anyways. But so that's my first thing. My second thing is in the light of Overwatch League going live, like in 2018. I think my 2 big predictions are there's going to be a ban. There's going to be a ban system in Overwatch, and that kind of goes with my 2 new characters prediction because they're going to need more characters so you can get like 1 ban. And then my second thing is there's going to be a stat screen as far as like kills, points, stuff like that, because I think you need something, especially like with like League of Legends, all these other teams, they've got fantasy leagues behind it. They've got, so you need points, you need stats, you need things like that. So there's going to be a score screen and there's going to be a ban. And I was kind of leaning on it, but I think they might make it lock in your tunes, but that's questionable. But those are the other 2 are my major.
Now, really quick, when you say ban, are you talking about ban like Heroes of the Storm, where you can ban characters before
Yeah.
play?
Yeah, so there's going to be a pick and ban
Okay.
phase. I don't think you cannot not have that, to me, to make it a competitive. Like I don't know, that to me there would just be like zero strategy and people. And I think my reasoning too, if I can go a little deeper, is if you're trying to make it viewable for people of all ages and you're trying to put all this money behind it, it's not easy for someone to come in and like, oh, PewDiePie or whoever, he's Winston. Oh, now he's Tracer. Now he's Genji. Now he's, and it's like hard to process who's who, what's what. Find your favorite player. Find your favorite. So the lock in, the bans and characters in the score screens are kind of my 4.
All right. Anything else?
No.
All right. So that leaves me. There will be 2 new heroes announced. One will be relatively soon. I don't think it'll be as soon as Sombra. Like, we got Sombra pretty quick after she was announced. Won't be that quick, but it'll be by the end of the year, would be my guess, for the next hero. There will be another hero that they will talk about, but it will be farther out in the future for when it'll be released. So we're one this year, and then they're going to talk about a hero that's coming maybe in the first quarter of next year. That's my guess for that, for heroes. I am along the lines of everyone else. I do think a defense hero, at least one of them will be a defense hero. What our last character was Doomfist, and he was offense. So that's that. I agree with Jeff. There will be a new event that'll be announced for the game. I don't even want to speculate on what it could be, but I think we'll get a new event because at this point we need, the Uprising event was really cool, and now we're just kind of, other than that, we're just kind of back in the rotation. We'll have Winter Wonderland here in December, and then I don't even know what the next one, Year of the Rooster, I guess, would be the next one after that. So we're just, it wouldn't be Year of the Rooster, but just maybe they'll repackage that somehow. So anyway, we'll get a new event announced. I think there will be substantial changes. I wouldn't say maybe as deep as what Nick's talking, but I think there will be substantial changes to competitive play. I wouldn't be surprised if Blizzard does another change to the competitive play, the tier system, rank, placements, all of that. I think it's going to change again. I think there's going to be a bigger focus on more cosmetic items. Blizzard's going to need to get more cosmetic items in there, especially if they want people to keep buying loot boxes. And I think we will start to see costumes and skins inspired by other Blizzard franchises in Overwatch. So I think you're going to see maybe a Reinhardt skin that is themed after the Lich King or some, plate-wearing character from WoW. I think you're going to see maybe a Nova skin for Widowmaker. I mean, that makes sense. They already did a Widowmaker skin for Nova and Heroes, so maybe they could just return the favor and do that for her in Overwatch. I think you're going to just, it's, some people I was reading on the forums, they don't want to admit it. Overwatch is the big property right now for Blizzard, and I think we're going to see a lot of stuff announced for Overwatch. So that's kind of what I expect. Anything else for Overwatch before we move on?
No.
Oh, and one more hint. I think they'll maybe this isn't something I fully expect. Maybe they're going to do a price drop on it. Maybe make it a little bit cheaper. I know it's $40 on PC if you get the base version. Maybe Blizzard will be more aggressive on the consoles and get it a little bit cheaper. Maybe they'll get it down to $40 on console as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very esports big. That I think they're really going to blow open that Overwatch League thing.
Yeah, that's true, and there is going to actually be a panel about Overwatch League, so that wouldn't be surprising. It's pretty interesting. This whole Overwatch League thing is very new. It's never been attempted at the scale that Blizzard's attempting it at. So yeah, a lot of competitive play. I expect to be that to be a big focus as well. So all right, that's next is Hearthstone. So why don't we let our resident Hearthstone player and expert start? Greg, what do you expect from Hearthstone?
You know what? I'm not expecting. Actually, I almost said I'm not expecting too much, but that's the complete opposite. I'm actually expecting a new expansion announcement, and I kind of have a slight guess as to what it is. They recently announced what they do every month is they'll reveal what the card back is going to be for anybody that achieves level 20 or higher, or sorry, I guess 20 or lower. If you're going like up in rank, the number goes lower. But anyone that gets level 20 or lower gets that specific month or that season's card back. So they revealed the one that's going to be coming out for October, but at the same time, they also revealed what the card back is going to be for November. And it's not something they normally do. They usually reveal one at a time. So the fact that they revealed two at a time, the two this past week, and what the second one actually is, just kind of leads me to believe that the expansion is going to be either based off of South Seas, so very similar to the World of Warcraft, which would be really like a really cool tie-in to kind of tie the two IPs together, or also Booty Bay is the other one I'm thinking of too. And I'm basing this off of the card back is called Gone Fishing. And on the back of it, you guys know how like has the different just like effects that happen on it. And on the back of this one, there are like pictures of fish on the back. There's like fish nets, and then the little like the part that's usually lit up in the middle of the card where like the energy swirls are is like looks like ocean water swirling around. So I mean, it's not like a whole lot to go off of, but it seems like based on what they are showing, it's either going to be, like I said, I'd really be happy to see one that's tied in with World of Warcraft, South Seas, but also it could be hinting, like I said, like a Booty Bay or maybe like a pirate themed expansion.
All right. Well, so this is gonna be kind of awkward because the rest of us really don't play Hearthstone very much. But I'll go ahead and go next then.
Okay, well, really quick then. So I'll add some other things in.
Yeah,
since, I'm the big one.
please expound on that as much as you want because I know I can pretty much guarantee what Nick, Jeff, and I are going to say, and then that'll be it. So whatever you ramble on for, however you want, how long you want for Hearthstone.
Okay, so the next thing I'm thinking, this is all just speculation, but it's something that I've been wanting to see more of, or not more of. I wanted to see at all. Would be like a card swapping system. Again, we talked about this in previous episodes, how it's probably not something that's going to happen just because if you could trade cards with people, then there wouldn't be the need to buy card packs. But I think it would just be a really cool feature to have. Maybe like you can only trade cards X amount of times a month or something like that. So I think that'd be a cool one to have in there. Also, I'd like to see them drop the price of arena entry. Right now you have to pay 150 gold to play arena matches, and I understand why they have the entry fee because it's more of like a higher skill cap that way. But we've talked about this before, how getting gold in game isn't exactly the easiest feat to achieve. So if they dropped it down even like to 100 gold, I think that'd make it to where more people would be able to give arena a try too.
All right.
But that's really all I got though. So yeah, South Seas expansion or Booty Bay / pirate themed.
Okay. Nick, got any predictions for Hearthstone?
Yeah, I came prepared. Okay, even though I don't play these boring games. What? No, I'm just kidding. But even though I don't play these games, I did come prepared. So my first major prediction, and I'd like to hear Greg because he knows more. One is every competitive card game has a graveyard. I think they're going to introduce like a major kind of graveyard out of play mechanic. I mean, when you think of Yu-Gi-Oh, you think of Magic, you think of everything. There's a lot more going on with the graveyard and removing things from play. So I think that's going to be a big push to make the game maybe a little bit more spicier, bring competitive play up. Two, we talked about it earlier. Starter boxes. So I think they're going to maybe move towards, again, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh. Every year, either one of the hottest decks gets a starter deck, or they just make basic starter decks where you get a few good cards, you get kind of the staples that you need. I think they need to do that. I think we're going to see that. And then new expansion, of course.
Yeah, to elaborate on that one, the graveyard mechanic, I think that'd be really cool because there's already, especially with Warlock cards, there's a ton of cards that you use that are, okay, you discard this card from your hand, you remove this card from your deck, you take this one, this card on the field goes and gets destroyed. So I mean, there's already plenty of stuff in play to where, I mean, for at least for the Warlock deck at least, where it's definitely a viable thing. They'd have to find a way to implement that more with the other classes, I think, but that's definitely doable. And the other one, what was your other one more time?
Starter decks.
Starter. Oh yeah. So that one, yeah, I mean, I think they'll definitely probably start doing that because they already have one in Hearthstone. I don't remember if it's called a starter deck or not, but there's like a welcome, like a starters pack or like a welcome pack that you can buy for like, I think it's like $3 or $4 where you get, it's I want to say like 10, it's like either 8 or 10 of the classic packs that come with like the core game, and then you're guaranteed, I think it's like maybe 1 or 2 legendary cards in there also. So
Yeah.
they kind of have something like that already, but yeah, I'd like to see it where it's more like there's one like specific ones for the different expansions. I think it'd be really cool to have maybe like pro players like Crip, that guy that I follow, and a few of the other pro players like Savage, maybe take like one of their decks that they use and kind of share the composition with the Hearthstone team, and that'd be kind of cool if you could like, I don't know, like buy a copy of their deck kind of thing.
Yeah, I think the game is at the point where there's so many cards. It's getting to that point where I've played a lot of card games in my day, played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh, played in tournaments and stuff. There's always cards that like every deck needs. Dark Hole, Monster Reborn for you Yu-Gi-Oh throwbackers. And I think that game is at the point where there's these cards that you need to have, but the randomization of getting them and trying to craft them, especially those expensive legendaries, are just too out of reach, and they need to start making like staple starter deck.
Oh, and actually, I'm going to touch on that a little bit too. You're talking about how there's like those staple like Magic cards. There's one thing that's always bugged me about it's not Heroes, Hearthstone, and that is that every spell card is class specific. There are no like neutral spell cards you can use, or like every class can use it. So I think that'd be a really cool addition to have, is just neutral spell cards that any class can use.
All right. Jeff, got anything for Hearthstone in terms of BlizzCon predictions?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I think I agree with Greg.
All right. So you don't want to elaborate at all? Yeah, I mean, you don't have
No,
to if you don't want to.
I think we're gonna see a new expansion. That's about it.
Okay. Yeah, don't really. I mean, Greg covered a lot. Obviously they're going to reveal the next expansion. I think I'm along the thought process that Greg has, that it will. I think it'll be Booty Bay themed. The reason I think that was because I looked back on. I mean, what Greg brought up about the card back that's a great, kind of hint as well. But back when they outlined the new structure of the Hearthstone releases, they put out a picture that showed, there's going to be 3 expansions this year. And they showed the kind of like this picture, and it showed some kind of hints, kind of like, showed like, for the first one, we didn't know what it was at the time. It showed some trees and, kind of stuff. It ended up being the Ungoro expansion. Then it showed another thing where it showed some kind of runes and, kind of frost, and that ended up being Knights of the Frozen Throne. For the third set, it doesn't show a whole lot, but it shows like a bag of gold coins that are ripped open, and the gold's coming out on the table. That does go along with goblins. We all know, Booty Bay's kind of, that's one of their strongholds. And like Greg said, there is fishing there. It's a port town. So I think it'll somehow be Booty Bay themed. I don't know that might be a little too similar to Mean Streets of Gadget Zan, so maybe it'll be thematically different. I don't know.
That's why I'm thinking it'll probably be more of a pirate themed one, because I was just thinking, Gadget Zan, they already had the goblin themed cards. So I think to have maybe like, what was the other, like the Bloodsail Buccaneers was the other pirate faction. Yeah, so I think that'd be cool to see the pirate faction make an appearance, because there's plenty of pirate-based decks for like warriors and rogues. But it would be, I think it would be good to see some other types of classes be able to use that to their advantage too.
Okay, and then the only other thing, and I don't know, I have a hint that Blizzard is going to consider bringing Hearthstone to other platforms. I personally think they're missing an opportunity by not having it on consoles. I know they'd have to do an entirely new navigation system for the menus and just playing, because every other, device, it's either touch screen or a mouse, and, a mouse operates very similarly to using a finger on a touch screen. So I think that maybe we'll get an announcement that Hearthstone's going to other platforms. And of course, the one that makes the most sense right now would be Nintendo Switch. That thing has a touchscreen on it, and it's doing very well in the, I think they just announced it sold 2 million copies, or 2 million units in the United States, which that's not a whole lot considering the PS4 sold, a million copies or units in a day. But considering that Nintendo's coming off the Wii U, which didn't do so hot, it's being very well received by the gaming community. So maybe we'll see a Switch announcement for Hearthstone, although I don't know. That being free to play and having microtransactions and stuff. I don't know how open Nintendo would be to that. But so yeah, definitely expansion. But maybe announcement for new platforms. And like Nick said, I think it would be cool too if there's maybe a little more structure to help people who haven't played a lot of card games. You know, be like, hey, you know, here's a deck and it does this specific, you know, like we talked about this like with Magic, you know, like a theme deck. You know, this is the kind of gameplay style you're going to have if you buy these, you know, and basically what it would do would just be, you know, a list of cards, and maybe you could buy it and then you'd get a discount if you already owned some of the cards in it. So I don't know, maybe something like that.
Well, really quick, just to clarify one thing. I know you guys haven't played Hearthstone in a while, but now if you they have a feature on there when you go to create a new deck for a class, they actually make it to where you can have like a certain specialized kind of deck. Like I have it open right now. Let me give you a quick example of what I am talking about. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, I know. It's like mage. You can be like a frost deck or a fire, like control frost. It's like kind of tailored around popular decks. Yeah.
Yeah, so let me out here. I'll do mage just as an example. So I'm looking at right now. It gives you 4 options. It says it's called mage recipes. You can do classic mage, which is just cards based off of the classic packs, and it has a variety of spells, legendary cards, and minion cards. You can do one that's based off of, it looks like it's cards from the Mean Streets of Gadget Zan. And it says this one is meant to like use a lot of the potions and mixtures that you get from that expansion. And then the last one's called Fire and Ice. And this one is based off cards that you get from Knights of the Frozen Throne. And it tells you on the far right what cards you need to add to make this particular deck. Now, I mean, it's not guaranteed to be like a winner, but I mean, they do have stuff in place to kind of help out with that. And then the very last one is just custom deck. So that's kind of what I do. I just make my deck the way I want to.
All right. Well, yeah, I knew it had a little bit of that. I guess it was a little more in depth than I knew, but yeah, it would still be cool to maybe see them expand on it even further, like you said, like you and Nick said. Maybe specific personalities would have their decks highlighted or something like that'd be cool. But yeah, so mainly new expansion, possible console ports, including Nintendo Switch. So, all right, so that's everyone covered on Hearthstone, I believe. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on. This one I'm pretty excited about. Heroes of the Storm. Jeff, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with Heroes?
Heroes, I think we'll see probably a new hero announcement. I think we'll see like maybe a map or two. And then I think that's about it. I mean, they've been kind of keeping the flow steady, but I don't think it's going to get the same love and attention as Overwatch, because I think Overwatch is the full esports experience right now.
All right, so before we move on to Nick, what's your hint, or do you have any idea of what you have any prediction of what the hero may be, or at the very least what franchise the hero would come from?
I think we'll see, they'll go back. I think we'll see some from Warcraft.
All right, that it?
That's it.
All right, Nick, what do you got?
Okay, so again, I guess I took this as we were gonna get like more specific. So my two.
Well, no, that's I'm glad. I don't want to. I personally just I don't know. There's just so many possibilities. I tried thinking of more specific, but I'm glad you did. So please go into as much detail as you'd like.
Okay, so my Heroes of the Storm, 2 new heroes. One of them is gonna be Mercy, I think, from Overwatch. I think she's got enough to bring to the table as far as like diversity, healers. I was trying to think of other characters that aren't in the game that don't do stuff that's already in there. But I think Mercy brings enough difference to the table. Resurrect, constant heal. So I think she'll be one of the heroes. The second one, I couldn't like think of anyone because I'm not a lore guy first off, so I don't really know a lot about other characters that are from other franchises. I had one more. Let me look it up. Come back to me on a second.
All right, Greg, go ahead. What do you got for heroes?
So for heroes, I was taking a look at the main Heroes of the Storm page, and just the numbers on some of these things were a little staggering for me. So let me share something with you. For Overwatch here, okay, let's do from lowest to highest. For classic heroes, we have 1. We have the 3 Lost Vikings. For Overwatch heroes, we have 7 heroes. For Diablo and StarCraft, we have 15 heroes apiece. And then for World of Warcraft, we have 34 heroes available to play for World of Warcraft. So I have a feeling that it's not going to be World of Warcraft. I feel like it's already oversaturated with characters from that franchise. Now, I mean, yes, they have the most lore to work with, but at the same time, I feel like people that are fans of the other franchises are going to feel like they're just neglecting everything else if they keep on adding World of Warcraft heroes. So my personal guess, is going to be that there's going to be a new Overwatch hero. I think Nick's guess of Mercy is a pretty good one. I was actually thinking, probably just because he's my main. Actually, these two guys I've talked about before, and I know they're annoying to play as or play against in Overwatch, but I still like to play them. Mei and Bastion, I think, would be 2 really good additions to Heroes of the Storm. Bastion, I mean, yeah, part of him would kind of work similar to like Tychus with his minigun, but it would be kind of cool to have just a stationary, very similar to, was it Sergeant Hammer, how she shoots the artillery, but maybe just like the stationary minigun. For Mei, really good lane control. So I'm feeling one of them as potential heroes. For the new map, that one I couldn't really think of which one, because I mean the maps, I know a couple of them are themed. You got like the Diablo map. You got the one for StarCraft, the Warhead Junction. So I would like to see maybe like a World of Warcraft map. So maybe one themed off of one of the PvP battlegrounds, maybe. So like Warsong Gulch, that'd probably be a fun one to do, or maybe even like Arathi Basin. So I'd be down with one of those. And the last thing I'm gonna go here with is, since they already have 1 hero for the Lost Vikings, and that's really outside of the main franchises, that's like, as far as I'm aware and concerned, the only other notable IP from Blizzard that's not part of their core games. I would like to see them add
the Blackthorn fans are gonna kill you.
Oh well, all 5 of them. I'll defend myself against them.
Dang, shots fired. But please continue.
This might just be because I was playing the Lost Vikings this past week, but I would like to see the main villain of the Lost Vikings make an appearance in Heroes of the Storm. And for those that haven't played Lost Vikings or haven't played in a while, the main villain, his name is Tomator, Tomator. And you would think by the name he would be like a giant tomato, but he's actually like pretty much like a giant, kind of looks like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man, but like bigger and buffer. And his armor, he's got like blue armor on, and he has like just a giant single-handed shotgun.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Nick, you ready to continue with your predictions?
No, I thought I had another one for hero. I was gonna say a new map in some capacity, but I didn't really like narrow it down. I feel like that's maybe a little obvious. Greg already said it for me.
Okay. This is what I got for heroes. I think we'll get 2 heroes announced, at least. My guesses are, if it's 2, One will be a Warcraft hero, and I totally understand why you'd say not that it wouldn't be, Greg, because there's so many of them. But again, I think that's the reason that Blizzard will continue to make Warcraft heroes is because there's so much they have to work with. I think we will get a Warcraft hero. If it were up to me, we would have Tyrion Forging in that game. That would be my choice. That'd be cool, but maybe they'll do another multi-class hero if they were to do Tyrion.
I mean, they already have Uther, and that's pretty much the same thing, though.
Yeah, but they could do like a DPS paladin, though. That's kind of what I was thinking, like an assassin. But I see what you're saying. So I think if it's 2 heroes, it'll be Warcraft and a StarCraft hero, which I believe the StarCraft hero will be Phoenix. People have been asking for Phoenix for a long time. He's one of the most beloved characters in StarCraft. Garrett, Jeff, and I talk about it a lot. We're all huge StarCraft fans. Phoenix needs to have his time. He is a cool character. He had a really cool arc where he was just this really, honorable warrior as a Protoss zealot, and then, he fell in battle and was returned as a dragoon. And I think that would just be I know we kind of have some similar mechanics to that in a way right now. Now it would probably actually be most similar, kind of like Diva. It'd be like a reverse Diva now. So you'd have like a on-foot character that when he died, he'd turn into a dragoon somehow. So we have that mechanic with Diva, and then of course Leoric. He's able to kind of remain on the battlefield and have some impact even after he died. And same thing with Kel'Thuzad. So that's my guesses for that. If there is a third character, or I'm going to cover two little bases with this. If there's a third character or an Overwatch character, is any of them, I think it's going to be Winston. That's my guess because he is one of the kind of the marquee characters of Overwatch, and I could see his play style being pretty cool with his mobility and stuff like that. So that's my guesses for heroes. I think there will be at least 2 new battlegrounds announced. One of them will be a Warcraft-specific battleground, because unless I'm mistaken, the game does not have any Warcraft-specific battlegrounds, right?
Well, I think I want to say the one, I forget what is it Cursed Hollow? Because you can get the Headless Horseman is one of the bosses there, so that's why I thought.
That's true. I guess that's true. That's true. Good catch. But I could see them maybe doing something, maybe a little more. I don't know. Maybe they do something that's more kind of Alliance or Horde slanted. Make it maybe a little more.
That's kind of why I was going for like the battleground theme, because I mean it's already in a battleground. It's already split up on like 2 sides. So now you just got to find a way to make it look visually appealing with the lanes.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good.
Yeah, like maybe like an Arathi Basin, but in Heroes, something like that. I don't know. So that's my get. 2 hero or 2, possibly 3 heroes, 2 battlegrounds, and I'm thinking that's gonna pretty much be it. We just had the Heroes of the Storm 2.0 relaunch, and that changed a lot about the way the game's played, and people seem really happy with that. So I think based on that, I think it's going to be a little more low-key for Heroes outside of the expected content announcements for new Battlegrounds and Heroes. So that's it for Heroes. We covered everybody, right?
I believe so.
All right. Jeff, StarCraft. What are we getting?
Honestly, I have 0 clue. No, I have none at all.
Greg?
I'll jump in. So I'm gonna base this off of something that Kyle brought up during our last episode. So Kyle, if I'm stealing your thunder on this one, I apologize.
You probably are. I have a feeling, but please go ahead.
They announced, or they didn't announce, but when they put up all the merchandise for BlizzCon at the gear store, on the key art they had a edition of a character from StarCraft 2 called Mira Han, who is, if I'm correct about that, she's a mercenary in StarCraft 2, part of like her own little mercenary like Marauder group. Is that correct, Kyle?
Yep.
And so my theory on this one is that she is going to be the newest commander in the co-op mode for StarCraft 2.
Okay.
And that's kind of what I'm going for. Now, I haven't played any of the co-op modes or the co-op missions or anything, but from what I understand, you play as like key figures from the StarCraft lore. So you got like Raynor, I believe, is one. You can play as Nova, and there was one other one that you could play as that was a Terran. I don't quite remember what the name was. I was looking at earlier, but yeah, and kind of based on what I was talking about earlier with Heroes of the Storm, how numbers were kind of skewed in favor of like one IP. For StarCraft 2, I noticed that most of the commanders available were either Protoss or Zerg. So I think it makes sense that they would have a Terran commander be added on.
Okay, I like the research. I like the research there.
Thank you very much.
Anything else, Greg?
No, I'm going to say that's going to be all. I mean, they just had StarCraft Remastered come out, so I doubt there's going to be like anything new for that. I don't think there's going to be a StarCraft 3 announced.
Oh, if
yeah,
they did that,
know.
I would lose my mind if somehow that happened. But it's not. You're right. It's not going to happen.
If anything, I mean, if they're going to announce anything new for StarCraft besides Mirahan being a new commander for co-op, I think it's going to be maybe like a new IP altogether, or like just a new genre.
StarCraft Ghost is coming back.
StarCraft Ghost, or maybe even like an action adventure kind of game. I don't know, maybe like a third person shooter kind of thing, maybe along the lines of Gears of War would be really cool. It kind of has a similar artistic feel to it.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. What about you, Nick? What do you got?
Okay, so I just want to comment on the shooter thing. It would be cool, but I think after Overwatch, they're gonna steer away from anything like that. I think it seems like Blizzard kind of like does a game for each genre or whatever, and they just keep going. So I don't think a shooter's a possibility. That's just me. My two things for StarCraft is, I think we talked about it earlier. Wasn't there a rumor there was a new mobile game or something for something?
Yeah, there was a job posting for an MMORTS, and it was asking for mobile designers or maybe programmers or something. I don't remember the specifics, but yeah, it was an MMORTS for mobile.
Okay, so I don't think necessarily it's an RTS or anything, but I think StarCraft's going to have a big announcement. I know there's like on the showroom floor, there's not anything out there, but I feel like they're going to pull like a Hearthstone. Mobile's getting big, competitive obviously is getting big just in general. I think there's going to be a StarCraft, either like a tower defense type of thing. I think that game fits it perfectly for some sort of mobile tower defense if they can make it competitive, or like a strategy RPG competitive. I know like Lineage just came out with like kind of a game like that, and it's trying to push the competitive scene. So I think we might get something juicy from StarCraft, and it's either going to be something mobile, tower defense, or strategy RPG.
I was thinking maybe too something along the lines, especially since just with the recent success on the Switch with the Mario Rabbids game. But I think maybe something along the lines of XCOM would also be a good fit for StarCraft.
Did you say Switch and success in the same sentence?
Well, I sure did. Biggest success of the year.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It actually has pretty much outsold
it's a bold
most of the
statement.
consoles for the at least the past few months. But to be fair, though, you're also comparing it to game consoles that came out nearly 4 years ago. So I just want to keep that in mind also. So, all right. So anything else, Nick, on along the lines for StarCraft?
No, that's it. Just I think we're gonna get something a little bigger than we think, though. I think because they were trying to hide it. I feel like there's some secrecy. Something big's coming from StarCraft too.
Okay. All right. This is what I have for StarCraft. You took a little bit of my prediction, Greg, but yours actually I think makes more sense than mine, but I'm a man of honor, so I'm going to stick to my original prediction. There will be Mirahan content for StarCraft 2. It will be a new single-player mini-campaign like we got for Nova Covert Ops. That's my guess. Co-op Commander, when you think about it, and especially with all the, like Nick said, you did some pretty good research, that certainly makes more sense. But that was my guess, was that it would be a Mirahan-oriented mini-campaign. I think that's pretty much going to be it for StarCraft. The game is now in tuning/esports mode. Blizzard will continue to maintain the game for people who still play competitively. And I think that's it. I don't think we'll get... I'd lose my mind if somehow we got StarCraft 3 announced. That's not going to happen. But yeah, so very low key for StarCraft this year. Maybe there'll be some more stuff. But yeah, Mirahan single player content. That's pretty much it, other than maybe some, maybe they'll do some more balancing and tuning. Maybe they'll announce some new stuff, but that's it. So, and what's sure to be the shortest of the bunch, Diablo.
That's what they want us to think, Kyle.
Okay, let's talk about that a little bit really quick. Actually, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Let's air this out.
No, well, I want to ask a question first before we get into predictions. Has there been an instance where Blizzard has said nothing, there's not going to be anything, nada, zilch, and still announced something? Has there, what about Overwatch? What about Hearthstone? Have they anything like that?
No, and that's why I'm willing to take Blizzard at their word about this. We mentioned on a few episodes previous that Blizzard made an announcement that there will not be any Diablo announcements at BlizzCon. And now Greg pointed out that that's from the Diablo team, which, there's a bunch of different ways you can take that. But basically, then I'll throw my prediction out there right now, because it's based on exactly what we're talking about. There will be no Diablo announcements at BlizzCon. I think Blizzard's holding to their word. There will not be Diablo 4. There will not be Diablo 2 Remastered. There won't be anything. The floor space is tiny for Diablo. There's no, unless they're hiding something on the map, which I don't think they are.
There's a play area, isn't there? Is there not a play area?
It's tiny.
Okay,
and
there's going to be some.
They've already said that they're doing some kind of special convention exclusive experience for Diablo 3. I think that will be it. So that's my no Diablo announcements, other than maybe some if they do, it'll be very, very minor Diablo 3 related stuff. That's it. No new class, no Diablo 4, no new Diablo 2 Remastered. All right, so that's mine. Who wants to go next?
Nick, I'll let you go next. I'm formulating my rebuttal.
Okay, yeah. Kyle made a pretty convincing argument. I wanted to ask about the, instance of them saying there's not gonna be anything, and then there's something, which I know he's kind of the expert on that. If there wasn't, that changes my prediction. Because originally I was gonna say there was gonna be a Diablo 2, remastered, but the play area is very small, and I think, despite my belief, there'd probably be a lot of people that would want to try it. And then originally I said a few podcasts ago, which I just want to reiterate, it's coming, but it's not going to be a BlizzCon, is a Destiny style Diablo, some sort of lobby PSO thing, but that's not going to be it. I just want to reiterate, because when I'm right about that, I want everyone to remember, but that's not going to be at BlizzCon.
Okay.
So I agree with Kyle. There's not going to be anything, just some special experience.
Are you still formulating your rebuttal, Greg? Do you want to?
I got it all prepped. I'm good.
All right. Well, let's let Jeff get in real quick, because I'm sure I have a feeling he's going to be along the same lines as me. But Jeff, what do you think for Diablo?
I absolutely think they're going to hold true to their word. I don't think we're going to see anything at all.
All right. Very quick and easy. I like it. All right, Greg. What do you got?
Okay. Really quick before I give my rebuttal, Someone mentioned Nick said something about Destiny, and there was one more thing, one more prediction I wanted to add to Heroes of the Storm. So I'm just retro real fast.
Oh,
I
okay.
believe that they're going to add. No, I'm not going to say they're going to add Destiny characters, but I think they are going to. Since we do have Destiny 2 coming out on the Blizzard launcher next week, I think that they're going to have Destiny themed skins for Heroes of the Storm.
Okay,
That's-
hello. That was gonna be my miscellaneous. You kick him off. Get him out of here.
Okay. No.
Get him. Get.
All right. Well, we'll get into that in a little bit, but let's hear your
Okay.
Diablo rebuttal.
Sorry, Nick. Diablo rebuttal. I'm going to say for this one, and again, this is more just me playing devil's advocate. So if I'm wrong on it,
He said
I'm-
devil's advocate, and he's the game about a devil. So just want to throw that.
So I'm going to say that because it was the Diablo development team and not the classic game development team that made that announcement about no content, I'm going to say that they're going to have something coming out from the classic side. So maybe I'm pushing for that remaster of Diablo 2. What also makes me think about this too, and it works and it doesn't at the same time, is you guys might remember a while back that one of the developers from Telltale Games, a man named Mr. Harrison Pink, was
That's a great name.
hired
That's a
on
great
to-
name, by the way. Just shout out to Harrison Pink. That is a glorious name. But all right, go ahead, Greg.
a manly name.
It's a good name.
But he was hired on by Blizzard for the Diablo team. So I don't know. Again, like I said, they have a new developer on there, so it means maybe they have something in the works. It might not be for the classic games, but it might be something along the lines of like choose your adventure, point and click, Telltale kind of game. So I don't know. Again, since they said no new IPs were going to be announced, I mean, then maybe that's off the table, but I'm still holding out for the Diablo 2 remaster.
All right, now I want to rebuttal your rebuttal. It's like Nick mentioned. If they were announcing Diablo 2 Remastered, which we all know that Diablo 2 is one of the most revered titles in Blizzard's library, don't you think they would have demo space for Diablo 2 Remastered at BlizzCon?
It's going to be like Hunger Games, Kyle. They got to fight it out for it.
Okay. No, but like, I mean, maybe if it's coming really soon, maybe like if it were coming like really quickly, maybe they wouldn't do it. But that's why I'm leaning toward, and you bring up a good point about that the Diablo development team made that. I'm of the mind of that just happens to be the team who announced it. Yeah, they only ultimately speak for their own team, but I do think that was kind of meant to be Blizzard is not announcing Diablo content at BlizzCon. So you don't think they'd have it on display if it were going to be shown? Because right now it doesn't look like it will be.
Not at all. They're going to close down the Overwatch stage and put Diablo 2 in there.
Clever.
Yeah, maybe it's because we've already played it, and no one will care.
Yeah.
I mean, that...
No
Well,
one agrees with that.
Well, no, I think maybe if you're not being funny and clever, then maybe you do have a point that, I mean, I think people would be anxious to try it, but if they kind of know what it is, then maybe they don't need to have, and if it were coming relatively soon, maybe they wouldn't need to do that. But, so you think there will be Diablo 2 HD is what you're saying, or Diablo 2 Remaster, or whatever you want to call it.
Sure. Let's say that. Yeah.
Okay. What do we want to bet on this? Anyone want this? I wasn't willing to bet on any of the other ones. Does anyone in for a bet on this one? Greg, you want to bet me? Diablo 2 or Diablo 2 Remaster?
I'm good. I already told you I'm playing devil's advocate. I don't want to bet any money.
All right. So pretty much, other than Greg's, maybe we'll get Diablo 2 Remastered. Everyone's kind of the same mind. We're not really going to get anything for Diablo.
Yeah, they canned it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you look at the schedule, when we talked about this when it came out, there are 2 panels. I think it's an hour's worth of content for Diablo. And I think one of them is talking about the Necromancer. One of them is talking about something else that escapes me at the moment. I have heard some people say that they think there will be another class. I don't think I already said this, there won't be another class. I think they're done. I mean, the way that Blizzard or that Diablo team made that announcement, we're figuring out what's next for the franchise. To me, that's we're moving on and we're going to figure out what Diablo 4 is. That's what we're working on. And you mentioned Harrison Pink, Greg. I think my guess would be that I think maybe they're bringing him on to kind of maybe help with the narrative for whatever that game is, because we know that Telltale, they're pretty formulaic with their gameplay style. Too bad they can't get an engine that works right, but they do specialize in narrative driven games. So that would be my guess. They're bringing him on to help with the narrative aspect of whatever comes next. So all right, so Diablo's done, and I put another spot in here at, I believe, Greg's request. Miscellaneous predictions. Do you guys have anything to predict that may not have fit in one of the previous categories?
I do. If I want to get it out of there before Greg takes them all. Okay, well, yeah, I was gonna say there with Destiny's release, there's gonna be some Destiny crossover. The way Blizzard's been doing it, I think it's gonna be like an item for each game or something. Maybe like that little robot in-game pet for WoW, some sort of Heroes of the Storm skin, a card back. I think there's going to be some crossover. I think they're really going to try to push that. It's on the launcher. I think it's going to be a big game on the launcher. My second thing is a little bit more wishful, but I want to throw it out there. I think they might take another stab at a Warcraft movie, and they're going to push into like main content that everyone wants to see, like Lich King.
Oh, that was actually one of my predictions too, so I'm glad that you got it first, Nick.
Exactly. I knew it. Yeah.
Clever.
Yeah, definitely. Though, I'd love to see a new Warcraft movie. Just with a more established. I mean, obviously that was an established storyline. They took a few liberties when telling the story, so I'd like to see them do one like that was not like word for word, but like that kind of follows the set story pretty closely.
Yeah, I think just as keep going with this, I don't think there's gonna be like a trailer or anything. I think they might just mention future, some sort of release or the idea of it, and I think, like I said, I think it's gonna be more established popular content because I think the first movie did well enough to just kind of break even, maybe make a little bit of money, satisfy the fans, and I feel like Blizzard thinks they can blow it up. They just need something more popular.
All right. Anything else, Greg?
Well, for me, there is that one. My big one though, and this is the whole reason I was actually playing the Lost Vikings this week, is I don't know if you guys know this, but this year actually is the 25th anniversary of the Lost Vikings game. From when it was released on, I believe it was SNES. So I feel like that there's going to be, I don't want to say like a remaster of the original game just because it's so old, but I'd like to see, at the very least, I'd like to see like an honorable mention during the opening ceremony to just like acknowledge, hey, this game 25 years old. What I'd really like to see though is them announce a brand new Lost Vikings platformer, using something along the lines like the engine of like we talked about before, like Rayman, and that again very very fun. It's a platformer, so I mean it's not a dead type of genre. So I'd really like to see a new Lost Vikings game announced.
All right, Jeff, you said you don't have anything, right?
Right.
All right, he's not even at the mic.
No, I said I don't have anything.
Oh, it sounded like you were echoed across the room, but okay, no, that's fine. I actually kind of dug one up, and I'm gonna go a little bit along the lines of what Nick and Greg said. I can't imagine there not being some kind of Destiny, something. Like I think it'll be more minor than what Nick mentioned. It might even just be like a special something in Blizzard related in Destiny. Like we're going to give you a special emblem or something. I think it'll be minor, but I think Destiny 2 will get mentioned at the opening ceremony in some form. Maybe like some kind of thank you video from the development team, because, you know, they're going to get a lot of support from Blizzard gamers with that game. But my main prediction for the miscellaneous is that I think that we are going to see, and I'm stealing this a little bit, I listened to the Instance today, so shout out to those guys. Shout out to Terpster, because he's the one who actually mentioned this, and it seems it seems so obvious that I'm surprised we don't have something like this yet. I think that Blizzard's going to announce some sort of premium subscription, like a Blizzard subscription. I think what you'll, and I don't know exactly how it would work. They brought up some pretty neat ideas on the Instance. They mentioned versions where you get a WoW subscription and there's one that you don't, so that could change the pricing. But their basically idea was like, you'll get all the heroes and Heroes of the Storm when they come out. You'll get, obviously it's a little trickier with like Overwatch, because all the heroes and maps are already free. So maybe you'll get some kind of premium content for Overwatch each month. Hearthstone, again, is tricky. That would really throw the balance off. If like one of their ideas on there was like maybe something with like you'd get cards. I don't know about that, but I do think maybe that Blizzard is going to try to do some kind of premium subscription or something along those lines. I'm surprised they haven't done it yet, because like if you look at you can get Twitch Prime right now and you get like loot boxes and all that stuff. Like, I'm surprised that Blizzard hasn't tried doing that. Like, oh, if you subscribe, then you get this, this many loot boxes, you get this many, I don't know. But so I think there will be some kind of Blizzard subscription that will be announced at BlizzCon.
Now, are you like suggesting that people get a subscription to that on top of their subscription to Warcraft?
Well, like their idea was like that there would be the Blizzard, there would be two tiers basically. There would basically be a tier where their idea was actually pretty cool. So you'd have a tier where you got everything, where you didn't have a WoW subscription. And then there was another tier where you did have a WoW subscription, but it would actually give you a discount. So like you'd have this Blizzard, like let's say $20 a month. You'd get your WoW subscription and then other stuff. And then there was another tier that was cheaper where it did not include the WoW subscription. So I don't know. Blizzard's got such a big ecosystem now. They have the Blizzard launcher, and all that stuff. I don't know. It makes sense. Once I heard it, I was like, it makes sense. And they are doing some kind of panel about, and I know it's mainly about social features, but it is like a Blizzard app panel. So I don't know, maybe something about that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for my miscellaneous predictions. So yeah, I mean, I on that line, I hope Blizzard comes out of left field and throws something at us we weren't expecting. It doesn't seem that way. I don't think we're going to get something like an Overwatch announcement, I think apparently there's a big glaring hole on the schedule for BlizzCon 2014 after the opening ceremony. I wasn't paying attention much because that was the year we didn't go. But yeah, so I don't see something like that. But I think it's still going to be, obviously we're all thinking WoW expansion. That's pretty much a no-brainer. So I think it's going to be a good year, even if we don't get that megaton announcement. Anything else, gentlemen?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, about covers it for me.
Again, really stoked. BlizzCon's always an amazing time. Really excited that it's coming. And we'll see how accurate we all were. We are planning to do some content at BlizzCon. It's going to be a little more... It won't be as long form, obviously, as what we do every week. It's going to be, shorter content, things... Maybe if we go play something and we pull out a phone and do a quick little video about it, get some, one of our impressions or things like that. We're still kind of in the planning process of that. We'll see where that goes. But yeah, really excited and that's that. So let's go ahead and move on to the last little bit for the show, which is the winner. We're announcing the winner of our BlizzCon 2016 goodie box giveaway. We announced that last week, and we got quite a few entries, and so I do thank everyone who entered the contest, and thank you for checking out our content. We really appreciate it. But what we announced previously was that one winner would win a BlizzCon 2016 goodie box that includes only the physical items, that does not include the digital bonuses. So this winner will, it's all still in the box. Includes the BlizzCon Stein, the World of Warcraft faction coaster, which I've actually gotten quite a bit of use out of mine. That's the main coaster I've been using ever since I got it. The ETC guitar pick keychain from Heroes of the Storm, a Hearthstone microfiber tablet cleaning cloth, an Overwatch inflatable Reinhardt rocket hammer, a StarCraft 2 Baby Overlord antenna topper, and a Diablo 3 gaming dice set. And with that, the winner is AZN Fatboy, and they win the goodie box. So congratulations to you, sir or madam. I'm assuming sir because it's Fatboy. So we will be in touch with you. We'll be sending an email out right after I get the show posted to let you know that you've won, and we'll get your address so we can ship that out. And we're looking into more giveaway ideas, and when we come up with the next one, we'll be sure to announce it on here. So AZN Fatboy, congratulations again. We'll be in touch. So that's pretty much it for this episode. BlizzCon special. Got a lot of predictions. We'll see who was the closest in their predictions. Next week, we will be doing... We're still deciding how we're going to do it. A lot of it's going to depend on just what happens in the world of Blizzard over the next week, which we don't expect it to be very much because we are so close to BlizzCon. Stuff's starting to leak from what I've heard. I'm trying to keep a blind eye to it because I would like to kind of go in a little bit surprised. I'll decide, or we'll decide as a group if we're going to go into that or not. We might not. We just, again, people might just want to go in surprised. But like Greg mentioned, Destiny 2 will be released on Tuesday, October 24th. It will be available at 10 o'clock Pacific time, 10 a.m. So we will definitely be discussing Destiny 2. That may be a whole show. It might just be a topic of the show. We'll still figure that out. Our good friend Garrett Barbo is going to join us to discuss that. He's been playing Destiny like most of us have since the very beginning when it was released, the original game in 2014. So we're going to have him on to discuss the PC port of Destiny 2 and whether it's worth Blizzard gamers' money, because now they're going to see it on the launcher, and as far as I know, there's no way to hide that. So that will be we'll be talking about Destiny 2 quite a bit, and so that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you everyone for listening in. This has been the Frozen Council podcast, recording on October 22nd. We can be reached at thefrozencouncil.com. On Twitter, it's at Frozen Council. Instagram is the Frozen Council. And we can all be reached on our individual Twitters. Mine is Oyster Prime. Greg's is Bay_Greg. Jeff is Loremaster J. Nick is Tap Dancing Kitty. Anything else, guys?
Nope,
No.
that's it for me.
Yeah, that's about it for me too. I mean, again, 2 weeks out from BlizzCon, super pumped. Just going to try to get as much Blizzard gaming in as I can. I'm going to try to dedicate some time to watch those Blizzard, those highlight videos that they have on BlizzCon.com, just to kind of get real up to speed on everything.
All right. So that about does it. Thank you, everyone, for your continued support. And we will be back with another episode next week. Take care.